Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Cruz and welcome back to another video. In this one, well, I'm gonna take my pedal board apart. Guys, before we get started, you know the deal. Please do all of the things that help this channel grow. Like this video, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you get notifications every single time I upload a video. If you want to donate to this channel, if you want to help the channel out financially in any kind of way, please be sure to check out the links in the description box below. There's a direct link where you could donate to the channel directly, and there's also affiliate links linking you to products just like the ones that I'm going to be showcasing here on my pedal board, where you can purchase them from that link, or at least check out more about the product from that link. It helps the channel out just a little bit. It's an Amazon affiliate link, so definitely feel free to click on any of those links in the description box below to help the channel grow. Without further ado, I reluctantly say let's get started. Alright, so you guys know for the last couple of weeks I've been raving about this pedal board. I absolutely love it, but you guys know that I gotta take it apart. It's just something that needs to be done. I'm not even 100% sure what's driving me to do it. It almost feels like it's for the sake of this next phase of my life and even for this channel. One thing that I am big on, and I'm learning to sort of understand it and accept it more, is that I like changes. I like changing aesthetics and changing even just like the same room, whether it's adding something or taking something away, or even just moving stuff around, moving furniture around to find what works best for me. Doing that makes me feel like there's something fresh, new, and I'm rejuvenated, and I feel ready to just kind of like full speed ahead, shoot after all of the plans that I have. And I feel like doing this with my pedal board is going to give me that rejuvenation that I'm looking for in terms of guitar playing. And to be honest with you, it already has. I've probably played more guitar in the last couple of weeks than I've had in a really long time, which is 110% a very, very, very good thing. I'm not going to play through this thing. I'm not going to build another pedal board. I'm literally turning on the camera, and you're going to sit here with me as I take this thing apart. Maybe I'll cry, maybe I won't, but we'll talk about some of the pedals, what they mean to me, and then maybe we'll discuss some of the future plans that I have for a possible future pedal board build. And that's one thing I was actually shocked about, which was all the DMs that I got, mostly on Instagram, of friends and people who watch the channel, asking me what's my plan for the future, what do I want to put together. And to be honest with you, I don't have a plan. I think that my plan as of right now is just to have an open concept board, which is just have a board that's not really put together, that allows me to swap pedals in and out, to easily be able to put out demos for specific products or pedals. I think that I'm kind of getting the bug again, where not necessarily where I want to put a board together as much as I want to be able to get a bunch of different pedals into this studio to at least showcase for you, even for just a small period of time, and then send them back. So I guess you could say that's the idea, and I'm kind of working on that. But first things first, we're going to take this pedal board apart. It's just got to be done. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start kind of simple here. This is something that I never really showcased, and I'm going to actually flip the board up here really quickly. As you can see, the pedal board isn't like very well put together. It was always meant to be a temporary board until I could find something that suited my needs, and I just never found anything. And because I wasn't traveling too much, I didn't really feel the need to actually find something, and it just stood this way. But as you can clearly see, this entire board is being powered by this very ugly, but it does an amazing job. I just have Velcroed it and then taken Velcro off like 10-20 times. It's the CS12 by True Tone. Amazing power supply. I've never felt the need to quote-unquote upgrade this power supply. It supplied me with everything that I've ever needed, from some of my most elaborate pedal boards to some of the more modest pedal boards, and including this very setup, which if you guys don't know, this Line 6 HX Stomp is extremely power hungry, probably the most milliamps I've ever needed to supply in one pedal. It's very, very power hungry. So the fact that this power supply can handle that, and it was built way before this pedal ever came out, is amazing. It just shows you that they were so far advanced in their technology and the way that they were thinking and the direction they took their power supplies. So this ain't going anywhere. This is going to continue powering all of my pedals, but I just wanted to show you that. But there's something kind of under here that I've always never really shown you because it's underneath the pedal board, and that is this pedal right here. I'm going to take this out. This is actually powering a USB light for my pedal board. It's actually just Velcroed, and it was always mounted underneath my pedal board here. And look, it was mounted for a very good reason. It was because I was playing darker stages and I needed to be able to see it, and this thing was absolutely necessary for me. So it's called the Bright Switch. It's amazing. I've showcased it before. I think I've talked about it before. This is one of those products that sometimes you think, do I need it? Do I really need that? Well, for me, I did. I mean, this was a really great way to shine some light onto a pedal board, and it was in a pedal format. Yes, it took a little bit of a space, but because it fits so easily underneath, right in that slot that I just take it out of, it was really convenient. So it didn't take up a spot on my pedal board. It did take up power, but it requires very, very little power. It does have a USB connection where you could possibly charge a phone or a tablet. One of the things that I found was that the power wasn't strong enough to do that. So unless you're powering this thing directly into a wall mount, using a high grade power, using your power supply is not going to do much for your cell phone or your tablet. But I will say, if you're in a pinch, and it will hold a little bit of a charge for your cell phone if you really needed it. But the Bright Switch, so that's the first thing that comes off of the pedal board. Love this thing. I'm going to put the pedal board back down, and we're going to move on to some of the more easier stuff here that we can get to. The first thing I'll take off is this aux switch here made by Analog Endeavors. Oh man, you're going to hear a lot of Velcro tearing on this video. And this was controlling my snapshots on the HX Stomp. For now, I think I'm going to keep the HX Stomp mounted on some form of board. I do have amps here in the studio, and I do intend on maybe using amps here or there, but for the most part, it's much easier for me to record guitar through the HX Stomp direct into my DAW while I'm making these videos. So it's convenient. So I'm not necessarily looking to get rid of this thing, but I'm going to take it off of the board for now. But if the HX Stomp stays on the board, then this will stay right with it, because I think it's a great concept and could easily help me get to some of my more popular settings, very, very quickly. So that's going to stay, but I'm taking it off the board for now. All right, the other thing that you never really saw, but you would hear me talk about, is this junction box, or actually it's called a mini patch bay, and it was made by the company This One's Mine. And it really is just a 4-channel patch bay. I've used it for various different things throughout the years, whether I used it for like an effects loop thing, I've used it for multiple inputs going into multiple different sources, but for the most part, you can do whatever you want. It's a patch bay. So for now, it was just utilizing it as my input and output, and it was just very convenient to have it mounted right there on the side of the board to put all of my inputs and outputs right there, as opposed to going in and out of pedals. So makes for a really clean setup. Love this thing. All right, the next thing that it's easily accessible now is my volume pedal. This thing has served me extremely well. I talked about it plenty of times before. Again, this is the Dunlop Volume Pedal Mini. I actually also have the Wah Mini as well. So definitely one of those things. I miss having this on a pedal board for sure. I used to use a Wah for very unique purposes. Maybe I'll link the video right here where I talk about that. It's a very old video, so don't judge me too much on it. But now that I have an open board concept, I might want to go back to a full-size volume pedal. I only switched over to the Mini, for space purposes, but it's not my preference. I have a size 11 foot, so I kind of miss having a full-size volume pedal. Having a full-size volume pedal always made me feel like I had something a little bit more substantial to actually step on, but this has been great. The Mini stuff has been absolutely amazing. So that's coming off the board for now. Next now that's easily accessible here is the Digitech Jamman Solo XT. One of those, again, really, really super popular pedals for me on this channel. I get a lot of questions about this pedal as well. This is essentially like a jam pedal. I mean, it says it in the name, it's the Jamman. You're supposed to be able to load in backing tracks to this, press play, and have the backing tracks come out of your amp while you could play guitar through the pedal. My brain was working for years. Even before getting this pedal, I would always have like some sort of pedal style MP3 player on my pedal board. I love this thing. It has all of my pads and major keys in here. I still use it pretty much on every video. Every time I play through my pedal board, at some point I'll put this thing on just to give me a little bit of ambience in the background. So love this thing. Oh man, taking this pedal board apart is freaking me out. It's freaking me out right now. All right, let's move on. What's easy to get to? Let's start with the tuner. As I said in my last video, this was the one of the newest pedals, the newest pedal actually on my pedal board. So this is to tell you that I don't buy pedals often anymore. I've had this pedal board, maybe I've switched things up in terms of the layout multiple times, but the actual pedals themselves, it's been the same now for years. But this was the newest edition. This is the Polytune Mini. I bought it at some point last year, and it was simply because I needed more space. I didn't have any space to mount my Boss TU2 chromatic tuner, which I've been using for, I don't know, since 2007, I think is when I bought it. So a very long time. So this is the first tuner I've purchased since that, other than like the Polytune clip-on stuff for my acoustic guitars. And it was great. It's great. The size is great. It tunes really fantastic. I know what you're thinking. Don't you have a tuner on the HX Stomp? Why did you do that? I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the tuner in the HX Stomp stinks. I've heard people say different, but I don't trust it at all. I didn't like it at all, especially when I would compare it to like the chromatic tuner or even the Polytune. It just was off a little bit, and this got me so much more closer to being in tune. I use a Bigsby, so tuners are important to me, especially when recording. All right, the next little mini pedal that we'll keep in theme here with the mini pedals. This is a pedal that, maybe not this exact one, but I've always had an 808 on my pedal board since I could remember. I've been doing this for a long time now. I've had various versions of an 808, whether it was actual Ibanez 808 like this one happens to be the mini, or just different companies who've made their own kind of modified version of an 808. I love the JHS modified versions. This has been fantastic, man. Very great. This is a good sounding one. I've compared it to other 808s, and the mini has definitely had a more vintagey thing to it than some of the more modern versions of it. So I love this thing. I know people have a love-hate relationship with 808s. I love them. I love the mid-range thing that happens when you turn it on. Love this thing. I also love it as a standalone, which is not its most popular use, and I intend on using it more here in the studio. Moving on, this is probably the pedal that I had no idea I would love so much. For years, you would hear people talk about the infamous Klon pedal, right? You gotta have a Klon, you gotta try a Klon, it's the best thing ever. And then you always heard about the original Klon prices, you know, 3, 4, 5 grand to get one of those pedals. And I mean, you could tell in my face already, I'm not with that. That's just not happening. I'm not spending that kind of money. I could care less how popular or how good a pedal sounds. So because of that, it always kind of turned me off to the whole Klon style pedal as a whole. And that's when I bit the bullet and purchased the Wampler Tumnus, which is obviously their version of a Klon, and loved it. So I love that style. It's not, for me, it's in the family of the 808, to be honest with you. I know they're very different, but still has this mid-range thing, but it has a little more of a thickness, this bottom end thing to it that I really love. It gives me confidence to go to my bridge pickup and just jam out, you know, which is something you really want, especially with Strats or single coil guitars in general. Moving on, let's take off now these harder to take off pedals. These pedals have like that super duper Velcro on them that you basically need like a crowbar to get these off. I can't do it. I can't do it. Do I have any tools in here? All right, let's just be very strong for a second. Holy cow. Look at this. It's just tearing the pedal apart. Disrespectful. All right, anyway, this is the JHS Morning Glory. I actually recently did a review on this pedal, or how I use it on this pedal. I'll link it right here. I love this thing, and when I made the video, I just thought, oh, no one's gonna watch it, because honestly, I mean, this pedal's been out for so long, no one cares. But people still care about this pedal. I still think it's one of the better first stage gain pedals that are out there. I don't know, it's magical. So definitely love this. All right, this is the pedal that I swear has the absolute most official Velcro that I've ever put on any pedal ever. Oh my god, it's like breaking the pedal board. Hold on, this is embarrassing. Okay, this is the Deep 6 compressor by Walrus Audio. I'm gonna say this, I don't want to offend anyone, I don't want to get in trouble for saying this. I kind of feel like this pedal was a little bit overrated, to be honest with you. In the worship community, it really honestly felt like this was the pedal that you must have for a long time. Of course, others have come out in the market that sort of knocked this one out of its first place position a long time ago at this point, but I will say it does sound amazing. It was one of the first compression pedals that I trusted with the blend knob. Now, other pedals have come out with that before them. Most notably for me, it was like the Exotic Effects was the first compression pedal where I said, that blend knob, that's interesting. Now, this one was a little quirky. Maybe it's just mine. I don't know if it's all of them, but I definitely found that it was a little bit temperamental, and I had to make sure that it was exactly how I'd want it to be. The power supply had to sit a certain way. Inputs and outputs, the knobs, everything. It was very specific on how it wanted to be set up. So it could just be mine, but it was temperamental. But all in all, a great compression. I found the sweet spot for it, and I never really thought twice about turning it off in any given situation. So I love this thing. Now we're going to take off something that this is how you know when you're taking a pedal board like this apart. This is how you know it's over. The loop switcher. Okay, when you start pulling out all of those patch cables, it's over. There's no going back. Like, there's no fixing this. Once I pull these out, that's it. Wow. Oh my god. I'm doing it. It's done. The Boss ES5. This is another one that got me some attention here on YouTube, and I appreciate that. Love this thing, man. People ask me about it all the time as well for the various functions that I use on it for my personal setup. Getting it to work really well with the HX Stomp, just to kind of quick access some of the features in the HX Stomp that I really wanted access to in terms of like with my whole entire rig. That to even just like tap tempo and utilizing that for my delays, and then ultimately utilizing it for my HX Stomp delays, which is really great. The mute switch on there was really fantastic, but then I eventually made it the tap tempo. Yeah, it was just really fun, man. The fact that you could press a button and make a bunch of things happen is really fantastic. It's one of those things that, though I know I could make a much smaller pedal board if I didn't have this thing, but it's so convenient having it on. So I have toyed with the idea of switching to the, I think it's called the MS3, which is 4 channels, because I only use 4 channels. I never used the 5th, actually. So clearly, out of everything I took off this pedal board, this is probably the one thing that won't come back, at least not for now, because it's just not necessary in this new stage of my career. All right, last but not least, the HX Stomp. I'm not going to pull it off this pedal board right now, because for now, I need to figure out what I'm going to do in here. But the only thing left standing is the HX Stomp. And how absolutely ironic. How absolutely ironic. This is a great thumbnail opportunity, by the way. Man, yeah. So here it is. This is the pedal board completely destroyed and empty. All of the cables are just sitting dangling now. Random cables just falling off. Gosh. All right. Well, this was a lot of hard work, and now, you know, it's all just gone. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I didn't cry. I'm probably going to cry when I turn the camera off, because I'm going to look on the floor, because I could already see from my peripheral all of my pedals laid out on the floor right now. There's a mess in my studio. I'm about to cry. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I will take some suggestions. My plan right now is to possibly replace this particular pedal board, bring something else in here that just looks a little bit nicer, that would appear nicer on camera, let's just say, that I could showcase pedals, but at the same time easily put pedals in and out of, where I don't feel an obligation to necessarily have a full pedal board put together. The other idea was to actually mount the HX Stomp onto my studio desk here, so that might be a possibility. I'm not sure if that's something I want to get involved in, but that's a possibility for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What direction you think I should take this in. I guarantee you, now that I've taken all this apart, that tomorrow I'm gonna get a phone call like, hey, can you do a gig? And I'm gonna go, yeah, I guess. And then I'm gonna have to put a pedal board together again. I guarantee it. I can feel it in my bones. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for putting up with this entire video. I appreciate you, love you. Do me a favor, please do all of the things that help this channel grow. Like this video, comment and subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon so you can get notifications every single time I upload a video. Be sure to check out some of the links in the description box below, affiliate links and direct links to donate to this channel. Every single time it's done, it's truly helpful. And just just takes me a little step further to be able to make these kinds of decisions, bring pedals into the studio to try out. So anything that you can do to help this channel would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week.